Hello, everybody. Joe Baydons here. Welcome back for another episode of Umineko. Last time we left off, yeah, not going so hot for Team Rokenjima. You know, they kind of got their asses kicked. Retreated into the Golden Land. Anjay got the Book of the Single Truth. Battler Beato got their asses kicked. Anjay's going off on her little temper tantrum about, no, the truth. I need the truth. It's the only thing that'll set me free. And yeah, dude, I'm so fucking tired today. Ridiculously hot and humid. And then it rained. And then I was outside when it rained, so I got drenched. And then it stopped raining. And then it got hot again. And I was just stuck in these sopping wet clothes that are literally fucking steaming on me from the humidity. It was not a good time. I'm not having fun right now. It's also so hot in my house. Now that the sun's like going down, my house was like built to retain heat, which, you know, it was built in the 40s before like central air was a thing. So yeah, great, good for them. It stays warm in the winter. However, in the summer, it's a goddamn brick oven. You know, if it was made out of brick, it's mainly wood, but you know what I mean. Like, if I go out to my car to grab something, when the sun is down, it's like, oh, it's a markedly, like, 10 to 15 degrees cooler outside than it is in my living room. I checked last time. You couldn't really hear it. You might hear, like, a small buzzing when I'm talking or whatever, like, in the background of my voice. That's the fan under my desk, doing its goddamn best to keep me from absolutely sweltering. Still haven't put my window AC units in. Definitely going to do that before I go to bed, though, from at least my bedroom upstairs. Because, yeah, I have no attic, so it's just like my ceiling goes right into like the underside of my roof, and that place, it's like even 10 degrees hotter than it is downstairs. So like when I first moved in here like 3 years ago, before I had like anything, I was just sleeping on an air mattress with like 4 fans surrounding me, just blasting me, because it was like 105 in the bedrooms at night. And it was rough going for a while, not gonna lie. And it's starting to get rough up there again now that the weather's getting a little toasty. But, you know, is what it is. I just gotta be careful not to drop my AC unit out the window when I'm putting it in. It's so back heavy, and my windows are so shitty and old. I'm so scared every single time. Like, I'm just gonna drop this and it's gonna fall right on the roof or through the window of my car parked right down below it. And then if that happens, I'll need to make an awkward phone call to my insurance and be like, hey, my windshield, help. And then they'll tell me to fucking get fucked. No, my insurance is pretty good. Never had to use it, so, you know, they'd probably help me out, I hope. I would just lie. You know, I wouldn't say I dropped it. You know, I would just say it fell on its own, you know. A bird landed on it and knocked it loose or something. Let's go with that. Anyway, you're not here to hear me ramble. You're here to hear me ramble about the story, not my own life. The Book of the Single Truth, sealed in crystal by Battler. Until I undo this seal, I can't even stick the key in the keyhole. Oh, and my lights just immediately started flashing. That's great. Come on. Oh god, what's doing that? Stop. There we go. It's probably because I'm so close to the fire station and they're always getting, like, transmissions. I have, like, outdoor porch lights hung around the, like, corner of the ceilings of my sunroom, so that way it's, like, 360 degrees light. But it's also controlled by a little radio transmitter box that I have a remote control that I keep on my desk. But just occasionally, sometimes, you know, the lights will start flashing, it'll dim, they'll go out. You know, they're just picking up errant radio signals, and it just freaks them out. It's real spooky. The house is probably haunted, not gonna lie. And I'm yawning. Oh, great start. Oh. Until I undo this seal, I can't even stick the key in the keyhole. I read that line.
あんたには解けるのよね。
Ooh, a big fancy library. Like Barbie.
その封印。もちろん。
They were in a vast, dimly lit space. Summed up in a phrase, it was like a trench in the ocean floor. Oh, that's not quite right. It was a library. However, the number of books and the height of the shelves vastly surpassed all of those that exist in the world of humans. If height is the measure of greatness, then the gods must surely have been giants taller than mountains. This place appeared to be a library big enough and grand enough for such gods. Each individual book was no larger than those from the human world. However, the shelves holding them stood like the walls of a valley or a deep-sea ocean trench. So, Anjay and the others looked like little more than a few small butterflies who had wandered into this vast library. Like minuscule deep-sea fish swimming about all alone in an ocean pit.
これは封印じゃなくて氷みたいなものよ。バトラの手から奪えば日向に置いとくだけ
Yeah,
で
just put it in the
時
freezer.
間をかければ勝手に溶け
We
る
do
程
that
度
with
の
people's
脆
ID
いも
cards if
の
they leave them in the computers at work, which you're not supposed to do. So we take it, we cut a slit in a water bottle, we put it in, and then we toss it in the freezer. And then, you know, they come back in and they're like, oh, where's my stuff? And like, because you're gonna have to fucking chip it out.
手っ取り早く打ち砕けないの？
あんたは冷凍サンマをハンマーで叩いて解凍するの？
ごめんね、家庭科は1なの。
So just like run it under the tap?
子猫たち、この封印の解凍を。
Okay, what an odd thing to ask a bunch of cats, but sure. When Baron Castell whispered from the dark ocean pit deep below them, several emerald green glints appeared and gathered like a school of fish. Baron Castell threw the Book of the Single Truth down to them, and only after several seconds passed, the school of fish seemed to gather around it and carried away. Those few seconds made it clear just how deep this bookshelf trench went. Anjay was once again dumbstruck by this unimaginably vast and godly library.
あとはあの子たちに任せておけばいいわ。
Alright, cool.
本当に私に中を読ませてくれるんでしょうね。
あなたが望むならそれは叶うわ。そして私だってあなたのその鍵がなければ読むことが叶わない。
Yeah, you know, it's a team effort. Anjay silently gripped the gold key in her pocket. I mean, the one around her neck? Sure. I guess they just didn't want to draw separate sprites. This journey had been so long and so strange. In search of the truth from 12 years ago, I left my home, met President Okanogi, met Amakusa. And at some point, that adventure became part of a witch illusion. However, here I am. Ushirmiya Ava's diary is here. The truth written inside it is sitting right before me.
しばらく休みなさい。私もあんたの相手だけをしていられるほど暇じゃないの。
別に疲れてなんかいないけどね。
エリカ、エンジェにお茶でもご馳走しなさい。
Really gonna trust Erica to make tea?
はい、我が主。
Erica popped into existence out of nowhere and bowed to her master.
ベルンカステル、もしあんたが私をうまいこと利用して本と鍵を奪おうと考えているなら。
Oh yeah, you're talking some big game here,
なんて口を。
here, Anjay, but are you really able to back it up?
ごめんなさいね。魔女とずいぶん長くやり合ってたせいで普通の言葉は信用しないことにしてるの。
いいわ。赤き真実で約束してあげる。一なる真実の書を封印が解けて一番最初に読むのはあなた、エンジェよ。これでいい？
Sometime, Anjay considered the witch's words, searching for some sort of trap hidden within them. There was no greater guarantee than a red truth given by a witch. Anjay understood this well enough. If one did start to doubt even this red truth, there'd be nothing left to trust in this entire world. If one began to suspect even this, then even the truth would no longer be truth.
まだ不満なの？
I mean, yeah, she could be the first one to read it. Never said, you know, she'd be the first one to finish reading it.
何も。
She would need Berncastell's help if she wanted to read the Book of the Single Truth. I'd be yawning. Ugh. I don't know what's up with me. I'm just like in a chain combo of yawning. It's real bad. Anjay finally realized that she had nothing to gain by complaining more and knowing this witch further.
封印が解けたらすぐに呼んでちょうだい。
もちろんよ。私だって早く読みたいもの。すぐに呼ぶわ。
Byrne spun away from them and vanished into the dark bookshelf trench. Andre saw a school of emerald green fish appear, and below them, Berncastel. And follow them behind Berncastel. Look at me just making up words. Could those be her familiars? As she stared at the emerald lights that resembled some sort of deep-sea fish, Anjay was poked from behind. That was much of a pretty big thump for a poke.
行きますよ。同志エンジェ。
気持ち悪いからエンジェでお願い。
Yeah, since when did you join like a fucking Marxist-Leninist party here, Erica? Calling everyone comrade.
じゃあ、私のことはエリカ様でお願いします。
行きましょう、同志エリカ。
The pair began to swim in the direction Erica indicated. Swim seemed a better way to describe what they were doing than fly would have.
ここは何なの？図書館って呼ぶにはあまりに広大すぎるわ。
どうせ覚えられませんから、図書館とでも呼ばれたらどうです？
Sure, the library of every truth in the universe.
覚えるかどうかは私が決めるわ。言いなさいよ。
尊厳なる感激と戯曲と傍観の魔女により厳選されし名誉ある図書の都です。
Oh yeah, that's a pretty long name.
やっぱ図書館でいいわ。
言うと思いました。
So it's like, it's the good picks, that all the witches like. They're like, ooh, yeah, these stories are worth saving. The City of Books. Yeah, that name fits. The bookshelves on either side of this canyon are skyscrapers. When I think of those emerald green lights flowing beneath us, the headlights on a highway, and this really does seem like a city of books.
ただの本じゃないんでしょ？これらは。
ええ。これら一冊一冊が重厚な群衆劇をまとめたもの。ここでは本に見えますが、本を開けばそこには本当に世界があるのです。
Yeah, it would probably take quite a while to get through them all.
私たちの長い物語もこの中の一冊でしかないのね。
遥か上層の
Yes, don't
霞んで見えな
don't
い
get
くら
too
い
close
の
to
上層
them.
の大魔女はもはや神や造物主と同じ存在です。そんな連中から見れば私たちの物語なんて果たして一冊にまとめる価値があるか
Just
ど
a
うか。
drop in an ocean. From the theatergoer's perspective, our individual lives are hardly worth anything at all. If they're writing down an entire world in a single volume, then my life probably isn't even worth a single line.
でも私たちは主人公
I
で
mean, everyone's the main character of their own life,
あんたも。
そうです。神々の物語に記されることがなくとも私たちが記す自らの物語の主人公は常に自分なんです。それを自覚できるかできないかが魔女と人間を分ける最初の分かれ道。
Oh no, am I a witch? I don't think I'm quite shoony enough to, be a witch. Just, reach that self-actualization, people. They were on a balcony, which was really a room-sized section that had been dug out of the bookshelf, with no guardrail along the cliff. Didn't go in very deep, making it look like a room that had been cut in half. It was filled with tools of everyday life, as though this was Erica's hidden house.
我が主よりお茶を振る舞えとの命令ですので、飲む気がなくてもロートを突っ込んで流し込みますからそのつもりで。
Is it at least going to be like iced tea? I don't really feel like drinking a hot tea through a funnel would be,
お抹茶を振る舞うわよ。
a very good dining experience.
抹茶？
なんでもないわ。こっちの話。
Ignoring Erica, she made tea, Anjay looked down upon the bizarre, otherworldly scene below. Till Erica finished getting the tea ready, the scene had held Anjay's gaze like it was sucking out her soul.
こう言っちゃなんですけど、
何？
真実を得るために命を投げ出す契約なんてよくもしたもんですね。
生きて何かするあてもないなら、私にとって残りの人生を投げ出すことなんて
Yeah, but ain't that like
対価としては
sad
安いもの
and
だ。
pitiful?
我が主も物好きな方です。こんな無気力女の無価値な命と引き換えに契約なさるなんて。
Anjay chuckled, not bothering to argue. That was exactly right. How incredible that Bern Castell would lend her power to a worthless life that was trying to throw itself away.
まあ、我が主は奇跡を司る魔女ですから。だからあんたみたいな無価値な女の前にも姿を現すのでしょう。
そうね、ベルンカステルが現れなくても、私はあの日あの国へ一歩を踏み出していたのだから。
Would you at least done like a cool flip?
安い女。
じゃああんたにはそれだけの価値が？
私ですか？
I mean, you'd have to fucking pay someone to take Erica. The way Erica cackled was disturbing. Still, Anjay realized that this was her way of answering the question. People don't become witches of their own choosing. They're capable of living. All people want to live their lives as humans. When something comes along to trip up that life, that's when the road to living as a witch opens. Even Furdo Erica, who calls herself the Witch of Truth, must be like this. The two witches of truth, sitting here drinking tea without even looking at each other, are exactly the same.
私は真実を暴くのが好きです。
Yeah, but you got like issues.
知ってるわ。
隠し事を暴き、相手がどうしてバレたんだと青ざめるのを見るのが大好きなんです。その瞬間、私は真実に至ったのだと確信し、
Yeah, we know. You're an intellectual rapist, so get over it.
趣味の悪いやつ。
じゃあ、あなたにとって真実は何だと言うんです？
What happened on Rokenjima on October 4th and 5th, 1986. Anjay was about to give an immediate answer, but she bit down her words. And when she did, not knowing the right way to respond, no further words came. After all, to Anjay, the truth itself was the goal. At first, it was out of hatred. Could Ushermia Ava, the sole survivor of Rokenchima, be the culprit behind everything? She hated Ava, but she had no proof that her aunt was the culprit. And of course, Ava never talked about what had happened on that island. So, at first, in Anjay's eyes, the truth meant proof that Ava was the culprit. However, that feeling withered away after Ava's death. Now that Ava was dead, even if Anjay did find some kind of proof, it wouldn't mean anything. So, eventually, the truth Anjay wanted to find became nothing more than the simple desire to know what happened on the island that day. However, one thing was obvious. Even if she did find out the truth, that wouldn't bring any of her family back to her.
意味なんてないのかもね。
意味もなく、大好きなお兄ちゃんが隠す真実を暴く？
Truth for truth's sake.
あんたこそ意味がわかりません。
Erica laughed mockingly. Anjay laughed too, as though she agreed.
だからね、私にとっての真実は目的に変わったの。生きるための理由とでも言えばいいのかしら。
じゃあ真実にたどり着いたらもう生きる意味も目的もなくなっちゃいますね。
そうよ。だから死ぬの。もういいじゃない。12年も余計に生きたのよ。
That's a real defeatist attitude to have.
そんな私に最後の瞬間くらい願いを叶えてくれる魔女が現れてもいいとは思わない？
ぶっちゃけると生きるのにもう疲れたの一言で
Yep. Given up.
できちゃいますね。
そうよ。だから私の存在も生きる目
Just,
的
you know,
も
folding card,
何もか
tapping
も
out.
無意味。
Like, nope, this is good. Time to cash out.
一なる真実の書にたどり着くという目的は、そんな私に人生最後のちょっとしたきらめきを与えてくれたわ。その一点でだけベルンカステルには感謝してるわ。
All loose ends tied up, you know, ready to make my exit.
バトラはあんたに生きてほしいからあんたの死ぬためのゴールを隠してるわけですね。バトラさんに初めて登場します。妹は選べないですからね。
Sorry, Oni-chan. I'm tired of life. 12 whole years. I've been living off nothing but the illusion that someone might come home someday. Just let me find peace already. Finding the truth of that day, I decided I'd use that to mark the end of my life. For 12 years, I believed in a miracle, but there was no miracle. I won't believe in miracles anymore.
一なる真実の書。内心は私も興味津々でしたが、そんなあんたの人生のピリオド扱いじゃ大した真実は記されてなさそうですね。
Yeah, you know, it doesn't sound like it's gonna be anything dramatic.
そうね。
How funny would it be if Ava was like, oh, it's just in her diary, oh yeah, I got like fucking boat sick and was stuck in bed with nausea the entire 2 days, and I don't remember what happened.
最初は経典
No, it's
ローチ
fucking
の何か
hopped
が
up on
記されている
Benadryl.
かもと期待したわ。
She's absolutely in an ambient stupor, and she just wandered off to Kuadorian. By chance.
でも今は何というか冷めてる。
無価値なあんたが求める真実なんてどうせ無価値です。それがあんたという無価値な人生のピリオドにふさわしいでしょう。
Yeah, but like, where's the pizzazz, you know? At least go out with a bang. This just kind of fizzle.
きっとそうなのよ。
Not even a fizzle, it's just kind of like someone hit the light switch and like, yep, that's it. Click, all done. Jay was already starting to realize something. Regardless of why Ava decided not to talk about what happened, the real events of that day probably weren't anything earth-shattering. Some sort of malfunction made the bomb in that secret underground base explode. Yes, it was just an accident. But the public believed and hoped that some sort of plot surrounded the events of that day. Ava was a suspect herself, so she could claim that nothing strange had happened until she was blue in the face and no one would believe her. Of course, this included Anjay. Yeah, it's the whole people want to believe, you know, that, you know, bad things they just don't happen. You know, that there's some reason, some explanation for it instead of, you know, shitty upkeep. People skimped out on the building codes and the building materials, and you know, wear, tear, neglect, and it just went. It's like when you look into like the whole, oh, it was 9/11 an inside job, and it's like, nah, it's just that the building was like particularly badly designed for fires, and you know, having you know, an airliner crash into you is real bad for your structural integrity. Yeah. Just mass incompetence all around on that one, you know. And people don't want to believe that. They're like, no, they can't be. It's like, oh god, what is it? It's like fucking Swiss cheese. Like, they talk about it in like accident prevention, in like our safety classes or whatever, where you try to make it so that even if like an incident is able to slip through one gap, you know, there's multiple layers. You want to make it so it stops at like the first one if it even gets through. Not that it can just go through all the holes in like the slices of Swiss cheese, and like, oh, then you end up with a catastrophic accident. You know, people don't want to believe that a crazy chain of coincidences couldn't possibly line up to da 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 for this, and then you look into it and it's like, oh, yeah, no, it was just real complacency and bad practices. And oops, shit happens. And people don't like accepting that as a thing that can happen. In that case, shutting up like a clam would just make things easier. It was hardly surprising that Ava chose to say nothing.
今は達成感なんて全くない。よくわからない気だるい疲労感があるだけよ。
真実の魔女は真実に耐える力があるからこそ真実の魔女なのです。同志エンジェル、あんたにはどうやらその力がないようですね。
You know, it's kind of like in the title of your job.
あったなら死のうなどと思わないのですから。
そうね、私は誰かが帰ってくるかもしれないという幻想に、私がベアトリーチェの猫箱に都合よく真実を隠して12年も真実を拒否していただけに過ぎない。
一なる真実の書を読ん
You
で
know, if it stays all closed up, you can at least hope.
あんたはどうなるんでしょうね。
さあ、契約に従いベルンカステルがちょんと私の首でも鎌で買ってくれるんじゃない？あるいは
I mean, that's rather
また
dramatic.
ひき肉かしら。
I feel like, you know, there's no point in doing it at this stage.
今度こそ
You know,
塩と
like
胡
that.
椒を練り込まれるわね。
なるほど。だからひき肉なわけですね。
何か言った？
いいえ、何も。
Yeah, what? Huh?
それよりおかわりはいかがです？
ノーサンキュー。
Anjay listlessly gazed down from the balcony with no handrail, down into the darkness of the abyss at the bottom of the bookshelf ravine. No, the gap between the bookshelf skyscrapers. Well, I guess Battler probably brought it up at one point, and, you know, Erica came into the story after Anjay was turned into fucking hamburgers. From the beginning until the end of my journey, I haven't taken a single step away from this spot. This journey of mine, not even a single step long, will soon end.
「そこを流れてる光の行列は何？」
ああ、大アウローラ教のパーティーの客人たちの行列でしょ。
客
Is
人
it like a fun party?
元老院の大魔女たちや退屈から逃れる永遠の旅の途中の航海者たちや数百年の眠りより目覚めた偉大なる大魔女たちから未来世界を牛耳る魔女や魔女狩りの貴族たちまで
Cool.
今夜は大きなパーティーが催されるようですよ。
お誕生パーティーでもするの？
I feel like if you live for millennia and where time becomes, you know, meaningless, there's no point in remembering your birthday.
無限の魔女大ベアトリーチェ教は辺境の魔女なれどその優れた魔法体系により無限の物語を生み出す無限機関ベアトリーチェの猫箱を生み出した天才魔女だそうです。私からすれば爪の甘い間抜け魔女なのですがどうやら大魔女の世界では
Alright, so Beatrice is like an
ちょ
indie
っと知
witch,
られた有名
you know,
人のようで
but she's got some real hardcore fans from the mainstream. Gotcha.
ベアトリーチェの誕生会でもやるわけ？
我が主はベアトリーチェの腹渡でもつ鍋パーティーと言っています。
Gross.
だってそうじゃないですか。一なる真実が存在しないから
Well, the
猫
guts of the
箱は
story,
無
but
限の
yeah.
物語を生み続けたのです。しかしこの夜あんたの鍵によって一なる真実が明かされます。そしてそれは猫箱が開かれることを意味する。まさにベアトリーチェを生きたまま腹を引き裂いてその中身をぶち抜けるのと同じことってわけです。
And yes, a dissection is done when the person's already dead. A vivisection is performed while they are still alive.
ベアトリーチェの有名さを驚くべきか。
Disturbing amount of information on how far a person can survive into vivisections. Not good. Not a good read. You shouldn't delve down that rabbit hole, trust me.
あんたにとって一なる真実の書の中身
A
は
bit of your love for humanity will die at the end of that road.
でもロッケン島ミステリーを感激する者たちにとってはこれは見過ごせないイベントですから。
なるほど。あれはお兄ちゃんのゲーム版を食い破って
Alright, so it's like the release party for like Deathly Hallows Part 2 or something. Anjay's analogy was an accurate one. The crowd, far, far below them, was made up of nobles wearing beautiful outfits and goat masks. They were all so intent on tearing the guts out of Beatrice's cat box that they couldn't even hide the drool trickling from their mouths. Those glutton goat nobles, who derived pleasure from violently exposing the truth, were in a line of cars heading towards the meeting place.
猫箱もベアトリーチェもいよいよおしまいなのね。
ベアトたちはゲーム版の最後の食い残し黄金鏡に立てこもってます、
The little strawberry from the top of the cake that they saved for last.
バトラとベアトが門番を務め第一陣を壊滅させたようですが第二陣は防げません。我が主は籠城概念破壊の艦隊を与えられました。黄金鏡の城壁などもはや風前の灯火です。
島に湧き出したヤギたちは島に惨劇を望む未来の妄言
Yeah,
が
they're
具現化した
fucking shitty comments on the internet.
そうです。
Like all the ones in my videos.
あのヤギたちは
That's not
ネ
true.
ットの
All
上
your
から
comments
い
are
くら
good.
でも生まれて
Except
き
for the
ま
ones
す。
that make fun of me.
第一陣など所詮は
Which are extremely rare.
第二陣は
You guys are good for the
違いま
most
す。
part. Stay golden.
無数のヤギたちの中から立てこもるすべての駒たち個人個人の規定に特化した再生鋭から編成しています。総兵力は10万。島に立てこもるほんの数十人を否定するために
Yeah, those ain't very good
人を
odds.
用意したのです。
I know they have the superior defensive position, but
もうおしまい
there's
だ。
only so much you can do.
もう覚悟はされているのでしょう。後宮バトラは1986年に死んでいてあの彼は猫箱が生み出した幻想であると。
ねえ分かってる。
Regardless of whether he's my real brother in illusion, regardless of whether he's who I'd like him to be or not, the battler who created this game board for my sake will die. No, it just means that I'll accept the fact of his death, and it's not like he's going to die now. Yeah, he's just gonna die retroactively 12 years in the past. Anjay thought to herself, shouldn't performing the last rites for her brother be her responsibility? Or maybe not, you know. Again, no bodies, no definitive proof, so who knows? Ooh, maybe he's out there. This was her final trial, which she had assigned to herself. All those people down on the game board, the personification of Anjay's naivety. By denying the existence of all of them, wouldn't she finally be able to accept the truth? No, that's not right. I'm not being honest, even with myself. Even if it's all an illusion, wouldn't make that bizarre Halloween party any less heartwarming. Nichan said it himself. That Halloween party may have been an illusion. However, he's trying to use that party to tell me something.
その第二陣は
我が主より私が指揮官を務めるようお任せを。エンジェさん、あなた自らに手を汚させるほど我が主は陰湿ではありません。
Yes, that might be kind of her. These are my lingering attachments we're talking about. I should be grateful to Burn Castell. If she really were cruel, she would have probably had ordered me to take charge of the second wave and execute my own family.
どうしエンジェ、あんたは真実の魔女なんですよね。
そうよ多分。
じゃあ受け入れましょうよ。12年を
Yeah, don't be getting cold feet now.
本当の一なる真実を。
私はここでベルンカステルが封印を解き終えるのを 気長に待つとするわ。
おそらく
You know, if you're like really thawing it out, if it's frozen solid, you know, it's got kind of freezer burn on, you're gonna need to put it under the hot tap for like a long time. Now you gotta flip it over occasionally to get the other side. But even then, it's like the middle might still be a little crunchy. So then you gotta toss it in the microwave on defrost.
あんたこそ出陣前に無駄毛でも抜いてきなさいよ。
Shave what? Erica getting that kind of mustache going. Is she getting the peach fuzz sideburns? It floated in the empty air. The door to the Golden Land. 1 or 2 square meters of tiled floor still remained in front of the door, scarcely enough to remind a person that this had once been Kinzo's study. By now, all the game board except the Golden Land had been eaten away, leaving only this door floating in a sea of nothingness. There were 2 figures in front of that door. It was Battler and Beato. They may have not been literally covered with wounds, but they definitely seemed to be dead tired. Battler, leaning against the door, seemed to have finally caught his breath. Beato was also sitting against the door, letting her legs dangle gracelessly. Could the battle against the Force really be called a battle? It's more like a mere pushing fight on an incredibly small bit of ground that remained. They'd wanted to protect at least Kinzo's study no matter what. And the only fruit of their desperate struggle was the tiny bit of flooring that they were sitting on now. Those goats fell into the abyss whenever they had nowhere left to stand. So now, with so much of the floor gone, there was no way for them to attack anymore. If Battler thought this, his naive hopes were quickly crushed.
ゾロリと取り囲んでやがるな。
増援を集め、今度こそ一度に押しつぶそうという魂胆であろう。
Yep, coming on boats. Oh my god. Nice Jolly Roger fucking burn. Stretching across the horizon surrounding the door at their backs was an encirclement of countless large sailing ships. As they could clearly see, the decks of those ships were packed with goats. Some of the more foolish and overeager ones spilled over the edge into the emptiness below.
すげえな。俺もお前のゲームで随分とおかしな経験をいろいろしてきたが、海賊船に包囲されるってのは初めての経験だぜ。
おそらく
Yeah, that's a new one.
黄金鏡の境を打ち破る力を持つのだろう。あの大砲もはったりではあるまい。あれでこの扉をぶち抜いて一挙になだれ込もうというに違いあるまい。
A little bit of siege artillery, alright. Along the sides of each ship were several open gun ports, each with a cannon pointing at the door. If all the ships surrounding them were joined by even more, and all those ships fired all their cannons at once, there was no point trying to imagine what would happen next. Battler and Beato grimaced and hung their heads.
あの大砲前に。
So they have like little goat children powder monkeys running around the cannon bays, you know. That was a thing on ships back in the day, you know. You would hire children to climb around in the where the cannons were to load the gunpowder because they're small and they could like scramble over everything easy, and their little tiny hands were good at reaching into small places.
わからぬ。ただあれだけの数を揃えているのにまだ援軍を待つということはおそらくそうやすやすと敗れはしないのだろう。
確かに降伏勧告もしないで攻撃の手を休める理由はそれしか考えられねえな。
奴らが与えるこの時間が我らに有利に生かせれば良いのだがな。
Yeah, do a little thinking, you know.
劣勢な側にとって
Not you guys' you know
時間
most
はいつだっ
strong
ていう
suit,
言い方
but
さ。
you know, I'm pretty sure if you rub your heads, you know, together, you know, enough, you know, the one brain cell you guys have might get warmed up and, you know, come back to life.
何かの奇跡を期待できるからな。
あるいは さらなる絶望を知ることにもなろうか。
That moment, something small and hard hit Battler in the forehead.
いって
Someone throw a rock at you?
なんだこりゃ。コンペイト？
私よ。分かったわよ。ベルンたちの居場所が。
The Competo candy was Lambda Delta's transformed body. She was the only one of their allies capable of crossing the Sea of Fragments.
おお、さすがは大ラムダデルタ卿。
ここじゃ奴らに姿を見られるわ。中で話をしましょう。一筋縄じゃいかないことになってる
Yep,
わ。
just a little.
わかった。誰かいるか？
When Battler knocked on the door, it opened, and Shannon and Cannon came into view.
はい。お呼びですか？
Yeah, a little strategy
見
meeting.
張りを頼む。
お任せを。
It's not
奴
anything
ら
to
が
say
攻
no
撃
to
を
you
開始した
anyway.
ら戦う必要はない。すぐに黄金鏡に逃げ込め。扉を閉めなくていい。
しかし、それでは。
I mean, they're just gonna blow up the door anyway, so.
奴らは扉なんか無視して直接黄金鏡をぶっ壊す気だ。ここで仁王立ちしてたってもう何も防ぐことはできやしない。
わかりました。
You know, a lock can't do very much if you destroy the entire door surrounding the lock.
ここは僕たちに任せて、中で対策を。
しばらく頼むぞ。
Battler and Beato traded places with Shannon and Cannon, returning to the Golden Land. Gentle rain poured down over the Golden Land's rose garden. The Golden Land's weather reflected the hearts of those inside it. The quietly falling raindrops spoke for the pain felt by those who could do nothing but hide here, waiting for the enemy's final assault. When they returned to the arbor, the compétole flew out of Battler's pocket, jumped onto the table, and returned to its original form.
久々よね、こんなス
You
リ
really
ル。
have to stand on the table? Like, we fucking eat there. Get
ま
down.
さか魔女にもなってこんなハラハラした目に遭うなんて夢にも思わなかったわ。
それでエンジやベールンカステルたちは一体どこに？
図書の都よ。
聞いたことがあります。海を渡る偉大な
Yeah,
る魔
fill
女
us
たち
in.
が集めた
No,
様
no
々
one
な
else here knows what that is.
書物に記し保管した地があると。
尊厳なる感激と戯曲と傍観の魔女により厳選されし名誉ある図書の都
Yeah,
です
I prefer the abbreviated version.
大アウローラ卿は図書の都の主だ。なるほど。妥当な場所であるな。し
Yep,
か
she's a
し
little bookworm.
さすがはラムダデルタ卿ね。無数に想定された隠れ家からこんなにも早く居場所を突き止められるなんて。
それがね、簡単に分かっちゃったわ。分かるも何も向こうで大々的に宣伝をしてい
They
る
got
わ。
posters up.
無限の魔女
No little
大
criers
ピア
out
ノ
on
リ
the
手
seat.
帳の猫
I
箱
mean, on
の
the
秘
street,
密
you know,
大
trying to
公
get your
開パーテ
attention.
ィー
Give you a
よ
little tissue
ね。
packet with the date and time on it.
なるほどな。奴らがまだ攻めてこぬ理由は援軍待ちではなくパーテ
そのパーティーとやらでエンジェの鍵を使って一なる真実の書を公開するということなのか。
And blow you guys away.
そういうことね。アウローラは久しぶりのイベントなんで各界から賓客を集めて大パーティーを催してるわ。一なる真実の書はそのパーティーの最後の
I
目
don't know.
玉になるでしょ
I
う
think I've had
ね。
enough of big witch VIPs for a while, so
エンジェと鍵を取り戻
prefer
すチャ
not
ンス
to meet anymore. Kind of a
まだ
headache.
あるってことか。
時間的猶予という意味ではね。ただとてもシンプルかつ当然な問題が。
なんだ？
図書の都は元老院の管理下にある聖域よ。
Okay.
神聖な結界が張られている。元老院の魔女以外は踏み入ることさえできない。
Well, good thing we got one of those right here.
パーティーの招待客には元老院に席を持たぬ者もいるので。
ええ、いるわ。
Yeah, they just gotta get picked up outside, though. You know,
そういう連中には
send the
特
carpool
別
around
に
and grab
聖
them
域
all.
に踏み入ることを許可する招待状が与えられてるみたい。
招待状。
これは面
Alright,
白
little,
く
just
なってき
little
ました
visitors passes.
と私も思ったわよ。ところがこの招待状、遅刻厳禁でパーティー開始時刻までに入場受付をしてないと自動的に効果を失う優れもの。そしてお気の毒なことについさっきパーティーは始まっちゃったわ。
No sneaking in using those.
つまり
No, can't jump
遅
someone in
刻
the
した
parking
来
lot,
客の
you
誰
know,
か
and
から
take theirs
招
and
待
then,
状
you
を
know,
奪うという
just
手
slip
は
on in.
もう手遅れということか。
そういうことで、どうすんのこれから。誰かポップコーンもらえる？今度キャンディーフレーバーがいいわ。
Ugh. Get cavities.
門外漢で恐縮だ
I only got one set of
が
teeth
も
to
は
take
や
care
お
of.
手上げに思えるね。
私たちはもうおしまいなのですね。
ここで座ったまま奴らが襲ってくるまで待ってるしかないの。何かできることがあるはずだわ。
そうね。私たちにできることは一つだけあるわ。
And that's wait and hope.
それは
1分1秒でも悪あがきして、奇跡を待つことや。
Well, maybe they'll just get all bored and leave.
つまりこいつはあらもの砦ってわけさ。
私たちに幸福はない。できるのは1分1秒でも持ちこたえて奇跡が起こるのを待つことだけで。
Roll the dice.
うりゅう。
Come on, big money, no whammies.
奇跡って何？エンジェが何かの理由で気が変わって
No, she's just the emotional sort.
ここへ戻ってくる可能性が何
There's
百
always
万
a
分の
chance.
1の確率であるかもしれない。
そのような極小の確率の末ならば、それは確かに奇跡と呼べるであろうな。私たちはエンジェさんの帰りを待つためにここにいるんです。
ええ、エンジェさんの帰る場所は、私たちのいるここだけ
So,
な
can't go having any of you go die a
だから
hero's death,
私
yeah?
たちは最後の1秒までここを守って彼女の帰りを待たなければならないんです。
留守をお預かりすることこそ使用人の役目。こうとなればこの号だ。もう覚悟は決まっております。
Alright, do your best, big man.
バトラー様、我ら一同すでに
Go out
覚
there
悟
and
は
block
決
a
まっ
couple
ておりま
cannonballs
す。
with your face.
シエスタ姉妹この得体一同、盟約に基づき最後まで大ベアトリーチェ教とご一緒するであります。
45、問題ありません。最後まで戦います。ようやく似合いの死に場所を見つけたに。410、問題ないに。
煉獄の7姉妹、最後までベアトリーチェ様とバトラ様のおそばに。
6 younger sisters also showed the resolve with their eyes. So that way we don't have to record more lines.
アイゼルネイ・ユングフラウ、最後までお供します。
元 SSVD もいいぜ。
そしてあなたもどうか私たちに力を。
私？だよ。
Yeah, come on, you know, join the party.
偵察してきてあげたじゃない。それで私は十分協力をしてあげたつもりだけど。
Yeah, but don't you want to be on like the hero team?
あなたは
You know, so
エン
just
ジェ
kind
さ
of
ん
like
の
a
都
free
市の
agent.
都の中にいるのをどうやって確認したんですか？
もちろんこの目でよ。私、自分の目で見たものしか信用しないたちな
Yeah,
の。
yeah, yeah, with a certainty.
ということはあなたは聖域である都市の都に入る資格を持っているということですね。
Well, yeah, she's on the Senate. Don't know who the fuck would vote for Lambda Delta, but
ダイラムダ・デルタ教は元老院の大魔女であらせられるぞ。
ラムダデルタ。
I don't want to get into
何
witch
よ、あん
politics.
たたち。まさか私にもう一働きしろって言ってん
Is
じゃ
there
ない
like
わよ
witch
ね。
gerrymandering?
これは思わぬ出番だね。
都署の都に入ることが
What are
で
their
きるの
tournament
は
limits like?
ラムダデルタ教ただ一人。
ということはこれはまさにラムダデルタ教のための見せ場ということじゃない。
バカ言ってんじゃない
Yeah,
わ
yeah,
よ。
really hype her up.
あんたたち正気？私
Yes.
がたった一人で
Yes.
そこへもう一度侵入してエンジェを連れ戻してこいっての？
Yep. Several dozen people surrounding Lambda all nod in unison.
バカも休み休みを言いなさいよね。エンジェを助け出すってことは大アウローラのパーティーをぶっ壊せってことよ。
Oh, what's better than a little party crash?
私に世界を敵に回せってこと？私に見
Yeah,
返
but
り
it's
は
like so dramatic,
ないわ、
you know,
あるわけな
romantic
い。
even.
あんたたちに用意できるどんな見返りだって大アウローラとその愉快な友人の化け物たちを敵に回すことと割が合うわけなんてない。
大アウローラと大ベルンカステルの目論見を台無しにし、
Yeah, you'll get to see Burn real frustrated and upset.
エンジェちゃんを連れ戻し、みんなで和解するというハッピーエンドが見られます。
She might
ど
even
うである
cry,
から
you
ムラ
know.
デルタ卿。
You'd be down for that, right?
これほどのスリル他にはないぞ。それほどの大事を成し遂げればそなたも病を1000年は忘れることができるのではないか。
頼む。
Yeah, riding high on cloud nine.
俺たちに力を貸してくれ。
Please, please, we're begging you. Help us save Anjay. Everyone clamored for Lambda Delta's help. They surrounded her and begged for her assistance.
どうか頼む。そなたしかおらぬのだ。
力を貸してくれ。俺がお前に最高の物語を見せ
Yeah,
て
she
や
seems
る。
weak to flattery. Just
そ
keep
いつを
keeping it
最前
on.
列で見せてやるから。だから力を貸してくれ。
うるさい。黙れっつってんです。
Lambda Delta leapt to her feet and crushed the cup of popcorn in her hands. Sweet, candy-flavored popcorn flew everywhere, and pieces stuck to everyone's face. Ugh! And it's wet. It may have been a hilarious sight. However, no one laughed. Lambda Delta's face was filled with a rage that none of them had seen before.
勘違いしないでくれる？私は観客よ、観客。ベアトに招かれてそのゲームを見物に来ただけの客人よ。
Yeah, but don't anyone just want to, like, you know, hop on stage and, like, ad-lib, you
その
know?
私がなんであんたたちのために命までかけなきゃなんないわけ？エンジェが帰ってきたらハッピーエンド？バカじゃない？
Yeah.
怒り狂ったベルンとその軍勢が一気になだれ込んできてブチッと潰されておしまいじゃな。私がここにいる理由はたった一つよ。
To watch it happen?
それは面白い物語が見られるとそこのリオンに単価を切られたから。そして私はもうじき最高に面白い物語が見られることを信じて疑わないわ。それは排水の陣でベルンの軍勢と戦って一人また一人と散っていく悲しい悲し
Now,
い
you
物
all
語。
dramatically get wiped out one by
全員
one.
に散り際の見せ場がありそうだもんね。
You just get your
そ
big
れを
hero
間近で
moment.
もうじき感激できるのよ。あんたたちはもうじきみんな死ぬの。でも私は違う。私は観客よ、客人よ。あんたも一緒に死んでくれなんて言われる筋合いはこれっぽっちもないんだから。
I mean, you're associating with them, so you might just catch a cannonball by accident. You done? Alright, bye. No one was able to say a word. In the still silence, with no sound except that of the rain, even Lambda Delta finally hung her head in dismay.
ごめんね。私ってば最高にかっこ悪いわ。
Yeah, it's fine.
そ
You're
う
not
よ
cool
ね。
enough to be the big hero.
ここで私が任せておきなさいって胸を叩いたら、私の人気はうなぎ登りで、次の人気投票はトップ3くらいに入っちゃうかもね。でもね、私はあんたたちと違って、物語の登場人物じゃないのよ。死ねないのよ。あんたたちが深夜に、クライマックスはこれからだとか意気込んでるけど、私は明日、月曜で学校で、日直で朝は起床が早いわけよ。
Alright, you just do like a coffee enema in the morning to, like, you know, really get yourself going.
住んでる世
So
界
that way
が
you
違
can stay
う
up to
の。
like 3 in the morning.
だからさ、私をさ、
Lambda Delta staggered as though dizzy, then flopped down into a chair. Then she became expressionless like a doll, just staring at a single point in space, silently. Yeah, that's a lot of pressure that's gonna put on you. Our bad. Battler softly apologized. However, Lambda Delta remained expressionless.
俺たちにできることも尽くさないのに。あんたにだけ何かを失うように強いるのはフェアじゃない。俺たちはここで戦い、最後の1秒までここを守る。
Yeah, so you just do you. Don't go, worrying over nothing.
一なる真実よりも俺たちを選び、帰ってきてくれるかもしれない奇跡を信じて、それも尽くさないのに、あんたに俺たちと一緒に命を捨ててくれなんて。
I mean, you'll still get like your big hero moment. Ain't that enticing? Battler rose from his seat and spun around.
バトラー。
見張りの2人と交代してくれ。俺が奴らと戦う時の先人でありたい。
Yeah, it makes a better story that way.
それが今すぐ俺がラムダデルタに見せられる。
You gonna put your cloak back on? You strike a more imposing figure like that.
わらわも行くぞ。お師匠様はラムダデルタ教に新しいポップコーンを頼む。デアと演者は必ず帰る。信じねば実る奇跡も実らぬというもの。くじを買わねば
You gotta nurture it,
当たる
the
こともない
miracle.
のだからな。
Vito also stood up and followed Battler.
みんな戦いに備え何かの準備をしよう。
賛成だぜ。ここでうつむいてたってバカバカしいぜ。
そうだな。最後くらい景気よく行こうぜ。
Just need to take a lucky shot. Get one bullet through their gun ports into like the powder magazine, and the whole ship goes up.
守らなくちゃ。
Just gotta get lucky a lot. Roll sixes. 10 times in a row.
私たちも作戦会議が必要です。
そうだな。家具に武具に悪魔に異端審問官だ。このちぐはぐ連合軍でうまく連
It's
携
a
を
bit
取
of
ら
a
なきゃ
motley crew, but gives
さあ、
you
妹
a
たち
lot of angles you can cover.
休憩の時間は終わりよ。
シエスタ対起立。
The humans and the fantasy creatures all rose to their feet and left the arbor. Afterwards, only Lambda Delta remained, still staring blankly at a point in empty space. She's like when your cat kind of just like starts staring at the ceiling and the wall and like freaking out. Except she's not freaking out, she's just kind of zoning out.
いい香りの紅茶ね。インスタント？それともティーバッグかしら？
Loose leaf?
おや、同志エヴァもいかがです？
Never had instant tea before. I mean, I guess you can do it. I've just never seen it.
カップはないのでロートになりますが。
Can't be that hard to make. All you have to do is like keep reducing it over and over until you kind of like you have just the crud at the bottom, which you break up and like dehydrate, and then just sell it in a little tin or bottle, and then you just add the hot water and boom, tea. The gold butterfly drifted onto the balcony and turned into Ava.
ベルーンカステルの様子はどう？一なる真実の書の封印を解くのにまだだいぶかかるのかしら。
それを伝えに来たのよ。封印が解けたそうよ。
Oh, cool.
おめでとうございます。いよいよですね。あなたの人生
Time to
の
make a
ピリ
choice.
オド。鍵を持ってベルーンカステル教のところへお行きなさいな。使い魔の猫が案内してくれるわ。
Two emerald sparkles flew in. They were green, glinting eyes of a black cat. The cat flicked its tail elegantly, with the dignity of a high-class attendant.
わかったわ。じゃあ、ちょっと行ってくるわ。
Will you, though? You're going to die. Oh. I should probably read the words on the screen. if the backlog will ever load. Anjay rose from her seat. She did it casually, as though she really was just heading out for a short trip. However, her lips would never touch her half-finished cup of tea again.
短い間でしたが楽しかったです。同族嫌悪って感情を知ることができる貴重な時間でした。
私こそ次に会えたらどうやったらこんなにまずく紅茶が入れられるのかぜひ秘密を教えてほしいわ。
Is it like too weak or too strong?
嬉しい？私が12年間ずっと
Or is it just like a
ずっ
shitty
と隠し
blend?
て意地悪してきた秘密がいよいよ知れて
嬉しいわ。ああ、今ならエリカの気持ちがわかるわ。あんたが死ぬまで守った秘密を暴けて
ripping apart all the curtains, you know, seeing all the truth.
それは気持ちのいいこと？
多少はマシって程度だわ。
I explained that poorly. I was thinking curtains like, you know, the Wizard of Oz, you know, the pay no heed to the man behind the curtain. Anjay nodded towards the black cat to let it know that she was ready. The cat nodded back in a refined manner, indicating that it wanted Anjay to follow, and leapt from the balcony. Without turning back, Anjay followed it, jumping out into the air as though swimming. Ava watched her go. An expression of ridicule and scorn was not the one that crossed her face.
いってらっしゃい、エンジェ。それもあんたの選んだ道よ。あんたはもう6歳じゃない。
Might not be the best one, but you know, you made your own decisions.
18歳なのよ。自分の人生は自分で選択しなさい。過保護のおばさまだことで。私は式典の様子を見に行くけれど、あなたは？もうじき出陣の時間ですので、船に向かいます。手土産にはベアとの屍を。腹渡はパーティーに。私は皮をもらえることになってますので、剥製を作りましょう。
Gross.
これで謎のベールに包まれた六軒島物語もおしまいね。すると、その
Just
駒
a
である
taxidermied Beatrice to hang on the wall like a fish.
私はただの
You know,
駒。
turn into like one of those singing bass.
駒の役目はゲームが終わるまで自分の役目に忠実であることだわ。ゲームが終わった後のことを考えるのは駒の。そうですね。それは私も同じです。お互い今のこのひとときを楽しみましょう。では私もこれで失礼します。
Well, you gotta go dig out your pirate hat.
じゃあね。お仕事頑張ってね。
I was wondering when it was gonna appear. It's like one of the only things I knew about Umineko coming in is that there's this bitch with a pirate hat. And apparently she's a dumbass. After exchanging elegant bows, the two witches vanished at the same time. Nothing remained except some half-finished teacups and the aroma of the tea itself. One after another, luxury cars stopped in front of a high-class hotel in the city, and guests began to step out of them.
いやあ、大月教授。おお、これは前回のコンベンション以来ですな。
All the guests gathered here were very rich and cultured. A single hobby tied all of them together. They were the witch hunters, like-minded people who enjoyed exploring various interpretations of the Rogenjima mystery.
しかし本当でしょうか。後ろ宮エヴァの日記帳が実在したなんて。ええ、私も噂には聞いておりました。後ろ宮エヴァが死の直前に隠したとささやかれる秘密の日記。彼女は六軒島の真実をそれに密かに記していたと噂されます。まるで王様の耳はロバの耳ですな。人は自分しか知り得ない秘密を穴を掘ってでも口にせずにはいられない。
Well, it'd be good to at least, tie up this whole fucking witch hunter thing with a nice little bow and then drop the subject.
何でも聞いた話ではドバイのコレクターが1000万ドルで買収を持ちかけてるとか。それはすごい。それだけロッキン島ミステリーが魅力的なことの証左ですな。
Conversations like this were breaking out passionately all over the place. Furthermore, the guests weren't the only ones pouring in. The press was also there in force. The Rokenjima mystery had created such a large movement that, at one time, it became a social phenomenon. Though it had died down slightly in recent years, it was still a topic fiercely debated across the internet. It was hardly any surprise that the discovery and imminent release of Ushiromiya Ava's diary, which contained the truth of that mystery, had caused an uproar. And on top of that, the mysterious forger, oh god, Itoi Kukuro was to appear publicly for the first time. In fact, it seems that Itoi Kukuro and Hachijo Toya, the up-and-coming mystery novelist, were the same person. Of course, this meant that Hachijo Toya would also be appearing in public for the first time. The fact that she was actually an enigmatic female author, despite having been thought to be male, would have been enough to cause a stir on its own. Before the diary unveiling party, a press conference was held in one of the rooms of the hotel.
いかにも私が八条東也です。先生は過去のサイン会においても影武者を立ててまで姿を現すことを拒まれてきたわけですが、それが今回こうして姿を現されたのはどういうご心境の変化からでしょう。六軒島の魔女伝説は無限の物語を生み出してきました。それが終焉することの意味を考えれば。
Some show I watched once. I don't know. I can't remember. It's in my mind.
物書きの端くれとしては姿を現す形で敬意を表するべきであると感じたからです。
偽書作家としての先生はネット上で真実に至ったと公言されておりました。それはつまりもう先生は日記の中身をご覧になっているということなのですか。
そしてそれはもうじき皆さんにも公開されることとなるでしょう。
こう言ってはなんですが、日記の中に記された内容が真実であるとの保証はあるのでしょうか。個人の私的記録に過ぎないといううがった見方もあるようですが。
いいえ。
I mean, that's a fair question.
私が保証します。日記には真実が記されています。
A stir passed through the crowd, and the room was suddenly filled with camera flashes.
これにて八条先生の会見を終了いたします。報道各社の皆さん、本日は誠にありがとうございます。引き続きまして後宮エヴァ氏の日記の撮影時間に移りたいと思います。
Is it all, dressed up nice and pretty for the cameras? A hotel worker pushed forward a cart covered by a veil. Then, after looking to Hachijo for approval, he removed the veil. There lay Ushiromiya Ava's diary. The book of the single truth sat there, waiting for its seal to be broken. Hachijo held it to her chest and laughed enigmatically. Camera flashes came from everywhere, making the book of the single truth glint.
以上で会見を終了させていただきます。それでは皆様、会場の方へ移動をお願いいたします。
Still holding the diary, Hachijo left the press conference room, escorted by men from the hotel. Until she went through a door that said no entry unless authorized. The journalists continued to surround her and ask questions, hoping to gather just one more comment. When the door slammed shut, the world twisted. The hotel employees became black cats wearing capes. Hachijo had turned into Feathery.
すごい熱気じゃない。楽しめた。
疲れる。だが悪くない。それにしても、この
probably
日記は
puffed up
重
your
い。
ego. Feathering tossed the diary and Burgestel caught it.
私は少し控室で休まっ。
出番なんてすぐよ。休んでる暇なんてないでしょ。
では休むと言わず、
久しぶりの興奮をかみしめる時間が欲しいと言い直
Yeah,
す。
no napping. You can have like a bottle of water and just sit down, but
借りるわよ。エンジェに一番に見せる約束をしているわ。そうか。
yeah, we'll bring it back to Lickety
な
Split.
らば好きにするがよい。
Feathering left, followed by her cat attendants. After watching her until she was out of sight, Bergestell disappeared as well. Like Erica's room, Bergestell's was a balcony without a handrail, dug out of a bookshelf's cliff. Anjay had been kept waiting for some time, but she had waited patiently, looking down at the world below her.
遅くなったわね。ごめんなさい。
After Bergestell appeared, the black cats gave a bow and vanished.
ほら、持ってきたわよ。一なる真実の書。
触れてもいい？
お好きに
Sure,
な
it's
さい。
just a book. Bergestell set it on the table and beckoned Anjay forward. Slowly, Anjay approached it. And it's not going to turn into smoke if you touch it.
これが
It's just a book.
エヴァおばさんの日記。
そうよ。その中に、あんたが知りたかった一なる真実が記されているわ。鍵は持ってるわよね。
Oh yeah, it's on her character sprite.
ええ、ここに。
Anjay took the key out, looked at it there on her palm, then gripped it tightly. Even the heavy lock that held the diary so securely was fated to be swept aside easily as soon as Anjay readied herself.
せかさないわ。あなたの心の準備がついてから開けるといい。
この中には1986年
Yep.
10月4日と5日に
All the juicy
何が
plot
起こったか。
details.
そうよ。
Or really disappointing plot details.
あなたが命と引き換えにしてでも知りたいと願ったすべてがね。
At that instant, instead of Anjay, two Anjays appeared, taking control of her body at the same time. On the one hand, she knew that she had already paid a great price to learn the truth. This part of her gripped the key, wanting to act quickly to prevent the moment of hesitation that might lead her to refuse to learn the truth now. At the final moment, with the book a single truth right before her. On the other hand, a feeling that she was betraying her brother and family that watched over her warmly made her bite her lower lip. However, though she shook, she could do nothing but watch her right hand slowly brought the key to as her right hand slowly brought the key towards the lock. I missed the as, and that completely threw off the sentence in my mind. What am I hesitating for? Inside this diary, there's the final destination of my sad, painful, 12-year-long journey. Was 12 years not enough of that? Do I want to keep living that way? I don't need Shen and all those others. Those are all illusions created by my heart. My naive hope that a miracle might still occur. If I put my two options on a scale, then the path I should choose is clear. Slowly, I pushed the key into the lock and twisted. The lock opened with a clink, and at the same time, it felt as though a crack ran through the key in my hand. Oh, it's like an RPG where the key breaks after one use. Maybe a part of its intricate design had broken off. I couldn't tell where it had broken just by glancing at it. However, for some reason, its golden glint seemed dulled somehow.
あんたがその鍵で選択をしたから魔法が一つ消えたのよ。
Yep, now it's just a key.
何の魔法？
バトラが言わなかった。その鍵はあなた以外の誰にも渡すことはできない。それはあなたに選択を委ねるという魔法。今もうその鍵はただの鍵。この日記を開け閉めするだけ。
It's lost its enchantment, which means it's worth a whole lot less money now.
そう。じゃあこのお兄ちゃんの鍵ももう用済みね。
So you can throw it in the trash.
もらってもいい？あんたが読んだ後に もう一度施錠するの。その錠前を開けるのに。
Yeah, it'll be more dramatic, you know, if they open it up on stage in front of everyone instead of it just showing up pre-opened.
好きにすればいいわ。
I don't give a damn what happens after I find the truth. Bernkastel slid the key from where it lay on the table and put it in her pocket.
ではどうぞ。真実を知ろうとするあなたの勇気が消えてしまう前にね。
You need like a shot of like Hennessy to give you like that liquid courage to go through with this. I lifted up Aunt Ava's now unlocked diary. The lock was open. Even the hinge had been released by now. There was no longer anything standing in the way of me opening to the pages within. I thought of taking a deep breath. However, I decided against it. I prepared myself for this long ago. So stupid to fuel my reluctance further. I opened it, violently, ruthlessly. I knew that this was the right way to open to the truth that awaited me within. As soon as the cover was opened, brilliant light poured out and my mind went hazy. I don't gotta search, flip through the pages to find the date, you're just gonna download it? Cool. The truth was sent to my mind directly, without letters or words. Tell me, what happened that day on Rokenjima? Okay. It's blue. Consciousness returned gradually. Nothing was written in the open book before me. Of course, this was my own blank and empty notebook. I was at school, just sitting idly with my notebook open. The world had stopped. The hands on the clock had stopped too. In that case, the auditorium should have been filled with silence. However, I could hear a small commotion. In this world of suspended time, I could see dark shapes sneaking about behind the unmoving students. They were students with goat heads. They were sneaking glances at me from behind the frozen students, whispering something to each other. I know. I can hear them. Everybody knows. One after another, students with goat heads slipped out from every conceivable hiding place. They slipped around all the students stopped in time and gathered around me. Then, they were all jeering out things in an endless stream, and, possibly aware that I could hear, showered me with giggles and sneers and comments amongst themselves. However, nothing that came from the goats' mouths reached my ears as words. This was a world without letters or words, so no words reached me. However, their emotions and meanings did reach me. So, I knew what it was they were saying. And then, when I was able to visualize it, this happened. One after another, goats opened their massive jaws, showed their fangs that dripped with saliva, and came forward to bite me. Time was stopped for me. I was aware, but I could not move. Literally, that wasn't true. However, I was pretending that I couldn't hear, so I couldn't move. The goats bit me all over my body, leaving their fang marks licking me. Maybe they didn't like the taste of my clothes. Taking advantage of the fact that I couldn't move, they chewed through my clothes one by one. Over and over, the goats stuck their tongues, their jaws, their fangs into my naked body. Damn lucky goats. It was covered with drool and bitten all over. Bright red teeth marks were left behind as sharp fangs pierced my skin, leaving trails of blood. They licked up that blood like real goats, hurting and humiliating me. I don't know, do goats lick blood? I feel like that's not a thing they do, but sure. I mean, I know they chew on, like, they like eating the glue from the labels of cans. I don't know if it's a common stereotype of goats that they drink blood. I think you're getting your animals mixed up here, Anjay. As I hung my head, one of the goats pulled on my hair, forcing me to look up and spoke. This time, it wasn't conceptual, but words I could hear. However, they weren't words of the human world. They were witches' words. The red truth, which signified absolute truth.
認めないわ。
あんたが認めなくったってこれが真相なんでしょ。あんたが認めないじゃない。
認めないわ。そんな真実、私は認めない。
So, we're just not gonna get it? That's fine too. Because in the end, it doesn't matter, you know, what the actual, you know, the truth in the book of Single Truth was, you know. Giggle, giggle, hee 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 hee, ha 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 ha, ho 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 ho. Who cares about the truth? So stupid, so pointless. The one who gets to decide if it's the truth or not, right? Even if it's red truth, I won't acknowledge it, won't permit it, and I definitely won't accept it.
若き真実は絶対？誰にとっての絶対？あんたたちにとっての絶対でしょ？私にとっての絶対じゃない！私の真実は、あんたたちの真実に怪我されたりなんかしない！
エンジ、落ち着いて。
Yeah, you're being hysterical.
知りたいと願ったのは。
So don't go be having a temper tantrum just because you got something you didn't want.
エヴァおばさんが犯人。エヴァおばさんがみんなを殺したのよ。悪いのは全部エヴァおばさん。お父さんもお母さんもお兄ちゃんもみんなただの犠牲者。誰も悪くない。誰も悪くない。だってそうじゃない。だってそうじゃない。
I mean, you're just saying it's Ava's fault. You're being a little contradictory. Your aunt will always be on your side, Ava-chan. Anjay-chan. I got their names mixed up because it was Ava saying it.
わかったわ。あんたの言葉の意味。そうよ、エヴァおばさん。あんたが犯人よ。あんたが犯人。それを認めない世界の方がおかしいのよ。壊れてるのよ。正しいのは私。私は赤き真実を世界の全てを
It kind of sounds like you're just in a downward spiral, the sunk cost fallacy.
そう。じゃあ、あんただけに記せる赤き真実を記してごらんなさい。
Yep, say it in red that Ava did it.
でも、人間はどうやって赤き真実を記すの？
あるわよ。人間にしか記せない真っ赤なインクがあるじゃない。
The blood.
演者さん、落ち着いてください。
正しいのは私。間違ってるのが世界。
So I'll jump, I'll prove you all wrong, I'll fucking kill myself,
私
you
が記し
whore!
てあげる。本当の赤き真実で私が真実を記してあげる。
20屋上支援大至急。演者さん、待ちなさい。早まるな。危ない。
グッバイ、エンジ。Have a nice day.
She'll be fine, she's just to tuck and roll, you know?
記してあげる。これが
Turn that
私の記
downward
す
momentum into, you know, lateral momentum.
お前たちの世界の真実など私は受け入れるものか。
Anjay's body went past the edge of the balcony. The air, which she had once been able to swim through, was now completely merciless for some reason. Anjay's body plunged straight into the darkness below. Burgestell just watched the scene play out in silence. Behind her, men in black suits rushed up to the fence, clutching it and screaming.
20演者さんが飛び降りた。
Alright, get the mops.
ダメだ、ここからは姿が見えない。大至急地上を調べろ。無理だ、どうしようもなかった。ひょっとするとあそこの防護ネットに引っかかったかもしれん。調べてみよう。
What fools. If you jump straight down from this height, do you really think such a flimsy safety net could possibly save you? I mean, that's the point of the safety net.
絶対に起こらないことをこの奇跡に。
But if it's meant for, like, you know, work at a lower level, then yeah. Anji's body fell from the skyscraper like bookshelves and slammed against the floor of the city of books. Looking down from Bernkestell's balcony, which was as high as a skyscraper's roof, could it have looked like a lovely, red-pressed flower? It couldn't have looked like anything. At the same time, in the same way, the death of a single, lonely girl who rejected the world and died alone wouldn't leave an impression on any of the world's people. She probably died instantly. It was only natural. She had fallen straight down from such a height after all. Is it even conceivable that she wouldn't die instantly after something like that? I mean, yeah, there have been instances of people, like, falling from airplanes and surviving miraculously. But then again, they usually fell in, like, soft, muddy kind of ground instead of, you know, hitting the concrete. The index finger on the right side of her corpse was stuck out as though it had something, as though it had traced something. Could it be that, by some impossible miracle, she really had escaped an instant death? And in her final moments, using the ink of the red blood draining from her, could she possibly have written her own personal red truth? However, no one would ever be able to tell what she had written. After all, the red blood pouring from her corpse had run over it.
それさえもあんたの選択よ、エンジェ。
Ava was looking down at the beautiful flower of blood radiating from Anji's corpse.
私はあんたを生かそうとした。
You win some, you lose some.
でもあんたは6歳より先の未来を生きようとしなかった。だからあんたは12年をかけてやっと元の場所に戻ってきた。
Eyes on Anji's corpse were closed. However, there's no way of knowing if this was a peaceful thing. Slowly, the corpse began to break down. By the end, it had become a messy lump of flesh with only a few parts recognizable as human. It's hardly surprising. How else would she look after falling from that height and slamming against the
あん
asphalt?
たは死ねたわ。でもね、それで天国のみんなに迎えてもらえるかは別だわ。だってあんたはその天国のみんなを拒絶してここへ来たんじゃない。See you hell。いいえ、多分それはここだったわね。さようなら、エンジェ。
あらエヴァ、ちょうどいいところ。お呼びでしょうか、我が主。そのひき肉の分
Oh, you're taking it pretty well.
捨てておいてちょうだい。私はこれを戻してくるよ。
In Burgessell's hand was the key, which had lost its magic when Anji had made her decision, and the Book of the Single Truth, which had been locked up again.
かしこまりました、我が主。
After looking down one more time, Burgessell vanished. Once she had gone, Ava summoned some cat familiars and ordered them to clean up. well, cats will eat your corpse if left alone, so... Black cats gathered at Andrei's flesh and scattered limbs and threw them into a tin bucket. Even in this miserable form, Andrei's soul was still living. Perhaps living was a poor description. She was unable to die. From now on, forever, she would drift along in the deepest depths of oblivion, covered by the dust of oblivion, until she finally disappeared. She continued to question herself. What did the truth mean to her? What was right, and where was the place she could call home? As her flesh began to cool, even the energy to ask these questions began to fade. Eventually, she would forget her everyday memories, even the reason why she was suffering. However, there was one thing she would never be able to forget. That was anguish. From this point forth, she would suffer endlessly without ever knowing why. By the time the cats finished flinging her corpse into the bucket and dumping it into the sea of nothingness, Andrei had forgotten even her own name. Well, that was quite dramatic. So that's where we're going to stop it here. Even though I know how this goes. I'm going to come back next time, and within the next 5 minutes of actually starting, reading the dialogue again, it's going to move to the next chapter. But it is what it is. It's getting late, and I need to go to bed because I need to be up early and to go running, even though I really, really don't want to. But I'm fat. I'm a little chunky right now, and this hot, humid weather, it's great for just sweating off the pounds. I put on my sweatsuit, and I just go out there and come back, and I've lost like 2 pounds. It's fantastic. But, yes, once again, I'd like to thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring the notification bell. See you guys all next time for the next episode of Umineko, where we will not move past, but, see what happens now after Andrei has had a bit of a moment, She got a little hysterical, and maybe did some things she should have thought about a little bit more. But yeah, with that, catch you guys later. Bye. Mwah.